What up, guys? It's Jan from 801 Garage. I know it's been such a long time since I've put out a video. I'm so sorry. Life got very, very crazy and hectic, and well, there just wasn't time to film and edit and all that good stuff. But we're putting it back on the schedule to make sure that it gets done. So I mean, I've still been active on my channel and on the forums in the sense of like comments and answering people's questions and stuff. But there's one question that I think it's brought up a lot, right? It's cars that you've had in the past versus the car that you just bought. Was it a waste of money? Do you wish you would have kept your old one? All that kind of stuff, right? For those of you guys that don't know or that haven't watched my older videos, I used to have a 2013 WRX Limited Edition. And it was dope, right? It was super cool. It was awesome. I loved it. It was loud as hell. Like obnoxiously loud. Of like every Subaru, right? It was the best. But it was super cool, right? It was stage 2, so it was downpipe exhaust, all that good stuff tuned. It was fast, it was fun. And again, for those of you that don't know, I live in Utah, and so we get just like shit on with snow, right? Every single winter. And so the all-wheel drive was awesome. It was a great addition to having a vehicle that I could use in a daily. And so all that like together was cool, right? It was great for a car. And then some life happened, and we had to cut back on some expenses, and first thing to go was the fun car, right? So I got rid of it and got a responsible dad car. And then I was put in a position again where I could get a fun car again. And it was, I was honestly considering between a 2018 WRX or this car, right? And a lot of people ask me, they're like, well, why didn't you go with the WRX? Because especially here in Utah, it's such a fanboy car that it's like, that's the epitome of the car you should have here in Utah is a Subaru, right? But I don't know, something about the SI. A long time ago, maybe, and I say long, but it's like 5 or 6 years ago, I had another SI actually. I had an 8th gen SI, an FA5, and I loved that car. It was slow as shit, but I loved that car. It was so much fun to drive, and I don't know, I just loved that car, and it always stuck with me. And I test drove both cars, and even though stock, the WRX felt faster, there were so many things about the SI that I liked so much more, right? And if I'm gonna be in a car all the time, it's not just about how fast it goes, right? It's about all the little things that kind of make your driving experience enjoyable. And overall, the SI won it for me, right? I loved it. I fell in love with it. I put a deposit on it, and then I took it. But yeah, a lot of people ask me, do you regret it? Like, do you wish you would have gotten back into the Subies? And my answer is the same every single time. Like, no, I absolutely adore my car. Like, it's not as fast as a WRX would have been, but I don't know, something about the SI, like, it's that thing that makes Honda just stand out. I don't know, I can't even put my finger on it. It's just so much fun. And honestly, if this generation of SI would have been like the last one, where it wasn't boosted, I would have probably picked up the WRX. Because for me, that's the thing that my 8th gen was always missing, was boost. And of course they could have gone off aftermarket and boosted it, but there's something about the structural integrity of a car that was already meant to be boosted, you know what I mean? And even though the K20 engines in the 8th gen SI held boost really well, I wanted something that was boosted from factory. So all that together just made the SI a no-brainer for me this time around, to go ahead and pick it up, right? And I loved it. It's awesome. The interior was one of the things that does it for me over the Subaru. Especially in my 2013, like, it was a, you know, $26,000, $30,000 car, but the interior felt like I was driving a $5,000 car from like 20 years ago. I absolutely hated the interiors in those cars. The exteriors are gorgeous. Oh my god, the exterior of that WRX still gets me every single time. Like, I see it on the road and I like almost crash staring at it because I love it so much. But the interiors are just horrid. I don't like them. It didn't feel like I was paying, you know, $450 a month for that car when I was sitting inside of it. Now when I put my foot down, it did. but just the experience of enjoying the interior of my car did not feel like what I was paying for it, if you guys get what I'm trying to say. But it was cool, you know? It was a fun car that I always wanted to have, and I did for a little while, right? But the SI just got me. It was beautiful. Now, a lot of people say, well, if you're gonna go Honda, why didn't you go Type R? And I said, well, are you gonna pay for the difference between a Type R and an SI? Nope. Then you don't get to have a comment on that. As much as I would love to have a Type R, it's not in the cards right now from like money-wise, you know what I mean? Honda, if you want to sponsor, feel free. But I mean, the SI is plenty. Rocking just basic bolt-ons with a stage 1 two-step performance tune on here. It's awesome. I keep up with my friend's stock WRX. That's and it feels great, right? The one thing I do miss, especially right now being winter, is that all-wheel drive. I get nervous driving. Luckily, I have a spare car that I can drive during the winter time. But it's sketchy because this year, normally I buy snow tires for my front-wheel drive cars, and this year I didn't. I should have, but I didn't. Next year I'm definitely going to, and just throw the winter wheels on the stock wheels that came on the car. But that is the one thing I miss. Now, comparing the SI to the Type R, there's a lot of things that I wish Honda would have done differently on the SI. Now, again, I love it, right? I've already told you guys how much I love the car. However, if you look at the difference between the SI and the SI and the Type R, and the WRX and the STI, there's a lot of things that make the WRX great because it looks like the STI. That giant hood scoop, right? Those wider fender flares. Those are all things that the Type R has that I think they should have thrown on the SI. Those are things that I dislike about this car. I dislike that the hood doesn't have a hood scoop. That's maybe the, you know, Fast and the Furious racer in me, but I drive a Honda, I'm allowed. The wider fenders from the Type R, oh, I wish those were on this car so much. I love that it has like the little scoop on the next to the wheel in the Type R. Just that wider with the scoop on the inside. Oh, I love it. I think just those little touches of detail are amazing and look so good. And those are things that I think they could have and should have thrown on this car. I think those aesthetic things that if they said, well, it would compete with the Type R, so we don't want to put it on there. Subaru does the same thing and it works out perfectly for them, right? And so I think putting those things on the SI would not have deterred anything from the Type R. I don't think it would have done anything to say, well, I'd rather have this than that, you know what I mean? And so those two things I think would have made this car look so much better. Those two things plus the bumper. I think if they would have put the Type R hood, the bumper, and the wider fenders on the SI, it would have taken this car to another level. Because everybody that has this car is already doing that, right? They buy the replicas of it and put it on there. And that's something I 100% think that Honda should have thrown on this car in stock. And it would have looked amazing. Within the next few months to a year, I want to do the same thing, right? I want to throw that Type R bumper and hood on here, just because it looks so good. The little vents next to the fog light housings, oh, it's beautiful. A lot of people for some reason don't like the look of the Type R. I think it's just too over the top. That's what it's supposed to be, right? The giant wing, the hood scoop, that's literally what the STI is too. And they, for some reason, have no problem with that, but the Type R is too over the top. I don't know. Maybe they just, my thought process is they just like to complain about Hondas, which is how it's always been in the car scene, right? If you buy a Honda, no matter how fucking clean it looks, it's automatically gonna get hate, literally just because it's a Honda, which I don't care, right? I'm okay with that. People that hate on my car and they look at it and they're like, oh shit, never mind, that's clean. But Hondas just get hate because they're Hondas. So if you're gonna buy one, just kind of expect that and just kind of gotta be okay with it. Gotta have some thick skin to own a Honda, which is stupid, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I am 100% happy with my purchase, and if I could go back and do it again, I would still buy the SI. It's solid, right? I have fun with it. If I put my foot down, it still goes fast, makes lots of delicious choo-choo noises because of my Cobra intake and my exhaust system and everything. And so I 100% still believe it was the correct purchase. and I would have still bought it over that WRX. Plus, it's great, right? I commute a lot, unfortunately, but I do have to for school, and 30 miles a gallon in a car that I can still have a shit ton of fun in, you can't beat that. So overall, I am 100% pleased with my purchase, and if I went back and did it again, I would still buy the SI over the WRX. Sorry, one second. Sorry if the video's a little shaky. I gotta fix my window mount on here because it's not sticking very well to the window, and so it kind of just gets annoying and shakes a bit. So I'm sorry if that's annoying any of you. I know a lot of you comment on that sometimes, and well, it is what it is. But yeah, that's it, right? It's a quick kind of Jonathan's thoughts on his purchase on his way to school. Now stick around, coming up we have a new clutch and a downpipe and front pipe coming on the car soon, and I'll be doing kind of a little review on how those are. The TSP Stage 1 tune made the car super duper fun. However, the clutches in these cars are absolute garbage for anything other than stock power. So I probably lasted 3 or 4 months on the stock clutch once I put that tune on, and then after that it's shit, right? So I ordered a Clutchmasters FX 400 that's been sitting in my living room for like 3 months now that I need to install. So once I get that installed, I'll do a review video for you guys to see how it is compared to that stock clutch. And then I also have a PRL downpipe and front pipe coming in that I also ordered like 6 months ago, but they've been on super back order. It was a whole thing. I'll tell you guys about it in the next video, but it's been a whole mess. So I do have a few videos planned coming up now so that we can keep going on videos for you guys, because for some reason a few of you seem to really enjoy it, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you so much for all of you that are continued supporters and keep watching those videos. I appreciate every single one of you. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and hit that bell for those notifications. I love all of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.